Devotion to the Eucharist, St. Pius X, the Pope of the Eucharist, said, is the noblest of devotions because it has God as its object. It is the most profitable for salvation because it gives us the author of grace. It is the sweetest because the Lord is sweetness itself. Devotion to the Eucharist, together with devotion to the Blessed Mother, is a distinctive feature of paradise. The angels and saints of heaven also practice them. There is a school in heaven, the mystic Saint Gemma Galgani used to say, and there one has only to learn how to love. The school is in the cenacle. The teacher is Jesus. The subject taught is his flesh and his blood. The Eucharist is love itself, identical with Jesus. Therefore, it is the sacrament of love, the sacrament that overflows with charity. It indeed contains the true living Jesus, the God who is love, St. John chapter 4, verses 8, and who loved us unto the end, St. John chapter 13, verses 1. All expressions of love, even the highest and the most profound, are verified in the Eucharist. Thus, it is a love that is crucified, a love that unites, a love that adores, a love that contemplates, a love that prays, a love that delightfully satisfies. The Eucharistic Jesus is the love that is crucified in the most holy sacrifice of the Mass, in which he renews the immolation of himself for us. In sacramental and spiritual communion, he is a love that unites, making himself one with the person who receives him. He is a love that adores in the Holy Tabernacle, where he is present as a holocaust of adoration to the Father. He is a love that contemplates, in his encounter with souls who love to be at his feet, like Mary of Bethany, St. Luke chapter 10, verses 39. He is a love that prays, always living to make intercession for us before the Father, Hebrews chapter 7, verses 25. He is a love that, in the heavenly exhilarations of nuptial union, delightfully satisfies his favored spouses, virgins of both sexes, whom he draws to himself in an exclusive love, as he drew to himself St. John the Evangelist, the virgin apostle, and the only one who leaned on his breast in the cenacle, St. John chapter 21, verses 20. To be possessed by Jesus and to possess him, that is the perfect reign of love, wrote St. Peter Julian Aymard. The Eucharist achieves this. In all, who are pure of heart, approach the Holy Tabernacle and unite themselves to Jesus in the host with humility and love. In the Eucharist, Jesus sacrifices himself for us, he gives himself to us, he remains among us with infinite humility and love. For one in such a lofty position to stoop so low is a marvel that is staggering, exclaimed the seraphic Father St. Francis. What sublime humility and humble sublimity that the Lord of the universe, the divine Son of God, should so humble himself as to hide under the appearance of bread for our salvation. Behold the humble way of God, my brothers. Therefore do not consider yourselves to be anything on your own account, so that you may be entirely acceptable to one who gives himself fully to you. And St. Alphonsus de Liguori adds, with his usual affectionate tenderness, my Jesus, what a lovable contrivance this holy sacrament was, that you would hide under the appearance of bread, to make yourself loved, and to be available for a visit by anyone who desires you. May some remembrance of the priest, who every day gives us Jesus, and of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of Jesus our God and of all priests, be included always in our affection toward the most holy sacrament. For the Eucharist, Our Lady and the priest are inseparable, just as Jesus, Mary, and St. John the Evangelist were inseparable on Calvary. Let us learn all this in the school of the saints. They lived in a manner that was ardent and sublime, as true seraphim of love for the Eucharist. These are the ones, as Vatican II declares, Lumen Gentium number 50, who are the most safe path to Jesus, our Eucharistic love. Father Stefano Maria Manelli, F.I.